Theater forms in India, in shadow puppetry, they're all telling the same story. And what is that story? The story of a very rich man who is oppressive and wants to fuck the young woman and steal the love away from the lovers, okay? Now this is the story of the struggle between true love and power. And that is what is so intoxicating for us about that story and for audiences for 500 years now. Why is that still relevant? It's still relevant because that story is the story of the struggle. It's the story of, and we saw this thing the other night with an actor playing Harlequino. Now I've always had this tough time with Harlequino because I've never really seen an actor really get it. And if you're unaware of the Commedia dell'arte, Harlequino is essentially the slave of Pantalone. He's got a little bump on his mask that is from being slammed on the head by his master. And so if you address the roots of that in the Commedia, what it really was it was a story about a slave and his relationship with power. And in the Commedia, it always allowed Harlequino to win in some way. It always allowed him to be wiser than his master. And in some way, embarrass publicly his master, without his master even knowing that Harlequino, is doing it to him. So it becomes the wisest character and the most powerful character, but it's also the toughest character to discover. And the other night we were in workshop, and I saw for the first time, we've been working on this for 20 years now, we saw a breakthrough with Harlequino that just went, I just went, whoo, like that. And it was this man, Chris Schultz, who somehow figured out through what he was saying, and we were doing this very long process, and at one point, I asked him for lyrics. I asked each of the actors to keep lyrics in their head, and he came out with this string of lyrics about work and how in the future there will be dignity, and how in the future that we will not have to work our way into the grave. And it was a moment of revelation. After 27 years of this, a moment of revelation on Sunday night that just took my breath away. It was the idea that Harlequino is not just this clownish rascal, but he's also a revolutionary. And that was like, for me, I've been trying to write the Commedia play for years, and I immediately understood how to write the play. So we work with these masks, and they're crafted by this man, Erhard Stiefel, in Paris, who's a brilliant mask maker. And he has somehow allowed us to address what happened 500 years ago. And we see moments on stage that are directly from the roots of Commedia. We have to work really hard to get to it, but we find it. And we're able to create this magic with the Actors Gang. And so I am very proud to receive this award because, and the Actors Gang is very proud to receive it because this is where our roots are. This is where we find our truth. The truth is essentially what we're after. People will talk about, when critics write about the Actors Gang, they'll write about, oh, it's socially minded and political, and we're okay with that, but what we're really interested in is the truth, the emotional truth of characters. And we're also interested in addressing issues of the day, but in a human way, not in a political way, not in a way that is addressing the specifics of the politics, but more with the specifics of the man and the woman that are affected by the lives around them. And so if that's political, you can call it political. But what we're trying to do, and what people have been trying to do since the invention of theater, from the Greeks through the Commedia, through Shakespeare, is how do we connect into the deeper human truth that will affect in some way, someone in a direct way, this community we've created for this temporary moment in time, in the darkness. How do we create a truth about humanity that will be unforgettable, that will live in the audience's minds forever? And that's what's unique about theater, and that's the power of theater. That's something theater can do now that film cannot do, that television cannot do. We have to realize that we're in a strange moment right now. This is a moment of where you're seeing the result of 20 years of corporatization of the media. And what has happened is that they have limited content to the extent where you can, it's very rare, where you can go to a movie and see truth. It's now formula. It's now stock formula. What do they call that?
Crap.
I believe the French word is genre. And so, what do? We turn on our televisions and we're seeking truth and we get crap, as you say. And we go and pay our money at the movie theater and we get crap, as you say. Well, how do we survive as artists? How do we survive and tell the truth? For me, and for the Actors Gang, and for the members of the Actors Gang, it always comes back to do the work. Get on stage and do the work. Find the truth, because we owe it to the audience. And I feel there's a cynicism in entertainment now that has gotten to the point where now the audiences are turning against this cynicism. And that's a hopeful thing, because they're starting to realize that they can make a choice and not go to those movies. Now, is Hollywood panicking? Yes. Why are they panicking? Because for years, they have allowed the decisions to be made by businessmen, not by artists. We had a beautiful moment. We had a beautiful moment in the 70s where the film studios threw up their hands and said, "We don't know what works. We've been trying these musicals for years. Nobody's going." So along comes Dennis Hopper, and he makes Easy Rider. And everybody goes to see Easy Rider. And so now the Hollywood studios go, "I don't know, good. I guess it's the hippie thing. You got any other hippie filmmakers out there?" And before you know it, you got a string of great hippie filmmakers making some of the best movies America's ever seen in the 1970s. Robert Altman, Alan Pakula, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola. The list goes on and on. Hal Ashby. And I was lucky enough to be able to grow up with that. And also at the same time to grow up with my weird-ass theater in Greenwich Village in New York. And so I was really privileged. And I wonder about the youth today. I wonder about where they're going to find the inspiration to create work that is beyond just the genre, just the craft. Where are they going to find the inspiration? And I would appeal to you that it's in the theater. That the one place where you do not have to seek the permission of corporate sponsorship is still in the theater. You can come with a passion and an idea and a story you want to tell and find a way to tell it. Now, you may be telling it to 100 people, but it shouldn't be about the numbers of people that are seeing it. It should be about the truth. It should be about the truth you're telling. And if you tell a truth to 100 people, that will resonate for so many more years with so many more people than if you tell a lie to millions. That's where we're at right now. I want to thank you, all of you that have come and spent money to support this theater company, because that is where we are at right now. We need to support these kinds of voices in America, and they're all over America. They're all over America in small little hamlets and communities. Little theater companies that we've discovered on the road that want to tell these kinds of stories that Hollywood will never tell in a million years.